All right, last night we had UFC 253. I caught the main event and the co-main event, but let's talk about the main event. Adesanya, Israel did work. He didn't lose 1 second. His second round TKO win over Brazilian Paulo Costa. Let's talk about it. Hit that subscribe button, bell icon button, share the video. And at one point when I was tuning in, I thought that Paulo Costa had tattoos on his foot, on his leg. And those were from all those kicks from Adesanya. He was switching from righty to lefty, kicking them. And I'm like, when is this guy, going to attack? I know that he's known for, really pushing the fight and closing the gap. And he was supposed to make Adesanya fight. And a lot of people don't like Adesanya. He talk a lot, but it's part of the persona to sell yourself. I mean, I'm not sure if his whole goal was to become the heel, but he's become the heel. Oh, he's corny. He this, that, and the third. And a lot of times when you're dealing with combat sports, a lot of people get caught up in the WWE, persona of it where these guys create characters and either you like them, you don't like them. And a lot of people don't like Adesanya because of his mouth. And they was picking against him with an emotional pick and with their heart. And he picked this kid apart. I mean, his kicks, Acosta couldn't get going. Acosta was doing a lot of laughing, doing all this, posturing and all of that. And all that means is you either frustrated or you getting your ass kicked. And from round one to the end of the TKO, he was hurting him to the legs. His legs had bruises on him, and I was waiting like, when is this guy gonna close the gap? I'm thinking he getting warmed up. And my boy, check out his channel, Lion Killer Podcast. He's more informative on UFC than I am. He told me that this Acosta guy was strong in the first 3 rounds, and that Adesanya would have to survive. And what Adesanya did was he slowed the pace down. It's no different in no combat sport. He slowed the pace down. And he was picking them apart, and he never let Costa close the distance on him. And he was hurting Costa too. Leg shots, to the legs. He was kicking up high. And Acosta tried to mount a little bit of offense. Just couldn't do it. Couldn't get past this kid's length. Couldn't get past this kid's speed. And he's accurate. This kid is precise. Everything he did, it was accurate. Even the kicks that he blocked to the head, they were accurate. And eventually, I think he kicked him in the head, and then he took him to the ground and he pounded him and he stopped him. It just wasn't too much to talk about. He dominated every second of the fight. Every second of the fight, and you got to respect him now. And if you just choose not to respect him, you're just a hater. You don't have to like him to respect somebody, but he was a superior fighter in there, superior athlete. And I don't think nobody seen this fight being stopped that fast. If they did, they would have said Adesanya would have been on his ass and went to sleep. And that wasn't the case. Good athlete, hand speed too good, kicks too good. He had a kickboxing background. He got knocked out in kickboxing. It happens. Kickboxing is a high pace. It can happen. And this kid was just striking beautiful last night with his legs. And them leg kicks was something he had to work on in camp. And that Costa guy, he wasn't ready for those leg kicks. His legs were literally bruised and wilted. This is only a 2-round, not even a full 2-round fight. It was already wilted. He doing all this and that. He wanted to drag him to a war. And Adesanya got the discipline to just do what he do best. And that's keep the fight on the outside. And, I thought Acosta was going to get down and try to grapple and wrestle him or fight him and put him on his ass. But all that size didn't matter. When you got length, speed, skill, discipline, you can maintain the distance that you want to fight at. This is what you get. You get an amazing fighter. He may be, one of the best fighters in the world in the UFC. I mean, overall, the combat sports. He may be the real deal. Everybody's saying he's a fake John Jones. I think he earned his name last night. A lot of people picked him to lose. And I think a lot of people was picking him to lose because they didn't like him. And when I was hearing this matchup, because, combat sports pretty much translate across the board, some things. When I was hearing this matchup, they were saying, well, this guy, this dude go to war. He wouldn't take punishment, this, that, and the third. And I seen this Israel guy fight before. And I'm like, well, he accurate. He maintained his distance, And I say, if you got an aggressive fighter there, maybe he jump in, he catch him with something, because he's accurate. But he never got started. And he said he'd be back bigger, stronger. He gonna come back. And one loss in the UFC is nothing. He lost for the title, can come back, fight a couple more fights, come back for the title. He'd be back in no time. But Adesanya is established itself as one of the best fighters in the UFC. Let's see if he keep the momentum going. But I think big paydays and big fights, other big fights is pretty much on tap for him. So Dana White just keep discovering and developing young fighters and turning them to stars quick. So where, you know, Conor's not fighting no more, and pretty much his company was really riding on Ronda Rousey, Conor McGregor, and John Jones financially. Obviously, when Conor and John came back, it jump started. But now he's starting to, you know, have like a farm system where now he got more stars coming in. You know, you got Justin Gaethje, I can't pronounce his name. I'm sorry. You got, you know, Israel Skande. I keep calling him Vasquez from boxing. Israel Sande. I think Costa will be back. You know what I'm saying? He just got really good fighters. You know, Stipe. You know, but I'm not sure if I would say Adesanya was the best middleweight of all time. You know, I still get that to Anderson Silva. But, you know, we'll see. You know, I think he beat Silva, old Silva. Can't really count that. But we'll see what's going on. But UFC 253. The other undercard fight where the dude looked like I can't pronounce the dude from Street Fighter. He knocked the old boy out. He was leaking on the ground, and he won a light heavyweight title, I think it was. So let's see what UFC got on tap. I think the next pay-per-view they got coming up is the 26th on October. I think it's featuring Khabib. So we'll see what's going on there. Don't forget, we on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can reach out if you have a business question, inquiry, response to your video request. Keep sharing the videos. Want to make a donation to the channel? Cash App is $CJ Good 313. PayPal link in the description. Appreciate everybody for checking in. Let me know what you thought about the fight. One time for the one time we gone.